is brought to you by Land Rover, above and beyond.
Hello, everyone, and welcome inside Dodger Stadium. I'm Kelly Tennant. Early this morning, Jock Peterson and Justin Turner participated in a sim game. Justin afterwards reporting he had no hamstring issues. Dave Roberts told me that he came out clean. He looked really good, was actually able to get after it, so he's still on schedule to be activated this weekend. Jock Peterson, though, according to Dave Roberts, not only dealing with the concussion, but still has limited range of motion, turning his head to the right. So the plan is to start his rehab on Friday, but they're going to have to take it a little slower because of the concussion neck combo, guys.
All right, Kelly. This offense looking forward to getting those guys back, especially Justin Turner, who's leading the National League in batting average at the time of the injury. And the Dodgers the last week or so have been struggling to generate much. The Nationals lineup is brought to you by Honda. They're the top offense in baseball, averaging better than 5.5 a game this year. Trey Turner, then Ryan Rayburn at the top. First left-hander that Clayton Kershaw sees is Bryce Harper. Then Ryan Zimmerman. And with Turner no longer qualifying for the batting average leaderboard, Zimmerman leading the way in that category. Then it's Murphy and Rendon. Taylor in center. Lobaton doing the catching for Strasburg. And Clayton Kershaw making his 13th start with the best earned run average in the National League coming in.
The stopper is on the mound, and Clayton Kershaw has been on his game of late, striking out 14 against the Milwaukee Brewers, recording his 2,000th strikeout and taking that total up to 2010. Now, the Nationals are one of the better on-base percentage teams in baseball, but Clayton doesn't walk anybody, and he doesn't give up many hits.
1 run on 2 hits over 7 innings in that game against Milwaukee on Friday, where he had those 14 Ks. Retired 20 in a row at one point in that game. Off we go in this one with ball 1 to Trey Turner, who deserves a lot of credit for the Nationals winning that game last night 2-1 to take a 2-0 series advantage. Reached on an infield single to start the game against McCarthy, stole second, stole third, scored on a sacrifice fly. Fly ball to center. Chris Taylor comes under it and makes the catch. On a day with overcast skies where I would imagine that it could be difficult to pick the ball up.
It's a hazy, lazy day, but there's some good baseball to be played on the field, and what a pitching matchup we have.
Here's Rayburn. Of course, this matchup was supposed to happen last year, and Vin in his final year battling through a cold at that point. It was in late June of last year. Probably should not have come to the ballpark, but battled through the cold and said, my goodness, for Kershaw and Strasburg, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get there and call the game. He gets here, he gets prep, he's all fired up and ready to go. Breaking ball, and it's 0-2. A couple hours before the game, Strasburg scratched with a weight room injury.
That means Vin is tougher than Stephen Strasburg.
I don't know that there was any question.
For sure.
There's the first punch out of the game, using the slider to get Rayburn 2 out.
Vin didn't have to break in with a pitch limit or an innings limit. He didn't have to be pampered. He went right to work for all those years and had a very long career and a marvelous career, and was never worn out.
No, they did a good job of easing him in, though, with a few innings at a time under Red Barber, Connie. And you know, you look at what he thought he was coming to see Strasburg and Kershaw. Wound up being Kershaw and Yusmeiro Petit, and it was a Dodger win. Bryce Harper fouls the first pitch off.
This is one of those matchups that even big leaguers would buy a ticket to watch. The best against the best. This is like something you see at an all-star game.
Big breaking pitch, and he's ahead of Harper 0-2.
Clayton has been throwing his slider harder and harder this year. So I really think that curveball becomes much more important to be able to change speeds on these hitters.
One and two.
Dropped down there, not completely Laredo, but he went down to south as far as maybe New Mexico.
The 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kershaw has owned Harper. Bryce 2 for 20 and has struck out 12 times against Kershaw. Clayton gunning for a 1-2-3 first. Just misses with a curve. Full count.
2-2 count. Yasmani wants it down the middle. Clayton just throws it a little bit to the inside.
Protects. We'll do it again.
And this is what good hitters can do. Even though Clayton has owned Bryce, takes a few more pitches to put away the great ones.
Bases empty, 2 gone, first inning, 3-2, and he got him. To chase the slider. Kershaw with a 1-2-3 first. A pair of strikeouts in the inning. Enter Stephen Strasburg. He's at the National, Stephen Strasburg, and the lineup brought to you by Honda. For the first time in a week, Chris Taylor's back at the top of it. Seager and Gonzalez in the middle. Grandal, Bellinger, and Forsythe. 3 guys struggling to get it going. Chase Utley's been their best hitter collectively over the last month. Then Puig, then Kershaw. Strasburg, 28 years of age, out of San Diego, California. Friday in Oakland, got his 5th consecutive win. 2 starts ago, a career-high 15 strikeouts against San Diego.
Now considered a fastball, curveball, changeup pitcher with a slider. Will throw any pitch at any time, and yes, he is in the stretch to start the game, and he will stay there throughout the whole game. Has abandoned the windup.
Taylor stands in against him. And it takes ball 1. You notice Yu Darvish doing that. You notice Carlos Carrasco of the Indians. 2 reasons for him. Consistent arm slot, which is important for 2 reasons that we'll get to. And then the other thing is that he's just always felt his stuff is better out of the stretch. It's inside and it's 2-0. So for him, a windup he felt was wasted motion, wasted energy.
It definitely keeps him more compact, keeps his head on his belly button side of his body so that he doesn't really get in that spread eagle position that has haunted him and hurt him.
That's a check swing roller to first, and a diving Zimmerman takes it to the bag to get Taylor for the first out.
Nice little play right there, because you don't have a swing or really a pitch location to get a good break, and Zimmerman breaks late but has enough range to reach this ball.
Brings up Corey Seager. Inside, ball 1. So the consistent arm slot that he mentioned as the first reason that he ditched the windup, important for command. And then the other thing, and this is especially important for him, it's easier on his elbow. 2-0.
His center of gravity and his posture are very consistent, and so when he lifts his leg, you'll see very little head movement, and you'll see him stay on line as he comes to the plate. With the rotation of the windup, you can gather some more momentum, but you can lose your line. With his hips and his shoulders, he is taking them exactly where he wants them to go. And when that body's in control, that arm slot is consistent.
Falling behind both Taylor and Seager 2-0. Now a 2-1 gets him swinging 2-2. Seager 0 for 4 in last night's game after collecting 3 hits in the opener Monday. That was a 4-2 Washington win. Last night 2-1. Got him swinging at 97. First strikeout, 2 away in the first.
Take a look at the couple of the deliveries from behind home plate. Watch the shoulders and the hips. They both do the same thing, and then the hips open and he comes straight at you. If you can imagine his center of gravity, he really doesn't lose it to the first base side until after the ball is gone. So his total body and pressure that he is building is going into delivering the baseball, which allows that elbow and arm to go along for the ride.
Gonzalez hitting third today. Stroking a line drive, base hit to left. And very quietly, Adrian has hits in 13 of his last 14 games.
When he volunteered to go on the disabled list, Cody Bellinger was swinging the bat so well and thought it was time for him not to grind through some of the injuries but actually get healthy. And the injury to Justin Turner and others happened, and he hurried off the DL and said, I'm well enough to get in there, and he's swinging the bat very well.
2-out base runner for Grandal in his scoreless first inning. Here comes Strasburg, and Yasmani looks at a breaking pitch for a strike. Dodgers are 2-5 in their last 7 games after the 6-game winning streak. Trailing the Rockies by 2 full games in the West. Quickly 0-2. The Nationals, meanwhile, best record in the league at 37-20. That is the best record in franchise history at this point. 12-3 over the last 15 games, 7-1 on this current road trip. Grandal climbs the ladder and flips it foul.
This road trip has really bolstered their road record. They're 10 games over 500 on the road. So they don't need home cooking to play well.
Still, though, not the best road team in the National League. That's the Rockies. In franchise history, have had a winning record only once on the road. Happened to be their last postseason trip, 2009. Adrian's over there talking with first base umpire Lance Barksdale, wondering about a potential balk from Strasburg.
Saying he stopped a couple times with his glove trying to come set. Adrian not a threat to run by any means, but definitely might be something, the 2 outs, that maybe he's looking for a way to get a walking lead and a surprise steal. Strasburg paying a large amount of time to him for somebody who is a first baseman that has been aging a little bit and definitely not thinking about stealing.
Another 0-2. Grandal pops it up and foul ground. Lobaton gives it a peek. He's there, and the inning is over. Dodgers get a 2-out single against Strasburg, but nothing to show for it. A no score through 1. 2-3 first inning. We look at our Land Rover Performance Spotlight, what he's done against Washington in his career. If you narrow this down to his last 8 against the Nationals, he's 8-0 with a sub-1.
He seems to always rise to the occasion and has really gotten anything that has been a ghost as far as playoff baseball behind him. The way he performed last year, coming in for Kenley Jansen and getting the save, and also pitching so well as in his starting role.
Ryan Zimmerman to lead off the second for Washington. And he corks one down the left field line. That is a fair ball and a home run that gets out of here in the blink of an eye. Zimmerman ambushes Kershaw on the first pitch of the second to make it 1-0.
Historically, the data would show that Ryan Zimmerman cannot hit the ball inside, but he is healthy this year, and this is the pitch he is now covering with the pitches that he used to cover, the away pitches. Jumps on that inside cutter off Clayton, even though it was inside off the plate, kept it fair.
Now Murphy pops it up. So the Nationals aggressive. Swinging to the first two pitches of this inning. One leaves the yard, one fails to leave the infield, one out.
Third baseman number 6, Anthony Rendon.
So Kershaw has now allowed 12 home runs this year. He allowed 8 all of last year. Bases empty with one gone, and Anthony Rendon coming up. Could be the hottest Nationals hitter. All starting with what he did on the final day of April when he had that 6-for-6 game with 3 homers and 10 RBIs. He's been the #1 hitter in baseball by on-base plus slugging since then. Kershaw deals ball 1. Two and 0.
If this was a tennis match, you would say that Clayton Kershaw's serve just got broken. When you go up against another ace, you feel like you want to post your 0 and then say to him, I got mine, go get yours. Especially when you're the home team, you get to go first. But Clayton Kershaw has been broken, and Stephen Strasburg will go out there and try and hold serve.
Count evens. A lot of guys, Kershaw being one of them, would say they don't pay that much attention to who's pitching on the other side. Is that his thing personally, or is he fibbing?
For me, if I was going up against somebody I knew had a really low ERA and had a chance of really dominating, it definitely changed my strategy. It changed my strategy if I gave up a leadoff double. It changed my strategy if they were just trying to move runners around or steal bases because they knew one run was going to be super important. So you had to pay attention to detail a lot earlier in the game, because that one scratch run that you might have just nonchalantly traded outs for a run, it could be very, very important at the end because of a dominant starter you're opposing.
Rendon barely gets a piece, stays alive at 3-2.
You give up a leadoff double early, you're really trying to prevent that guy from getting to third with less than 2 outs. You give up a leadoff triple early, you might take the risk of trying to prevent that run. You know, ask for the infield to be brought in, go for the strikeout to risk the walk.
Walks Rendon, first free pass of the game, and a 1-out base runner.
Center fielder number 3, Michael Taylor.
Brings up Michael Taylor with the Nationals in front 1-0, trying to pull off this sweep against the Dodgers for the first time here in LA since they were the Expos in Montreal. Ball 1 on Taylor, who's 0 for 7 in this series. In an everyday role now in center field for the Nationals with Adam Eaton's season-ending knee injury. A guy that was once a highly touted prospect has had opportunities here and there, but never an extended run like this where he's not going to have to look over his shoulder. 2-0. Strike 1. Taylor, who tried to flush from his memory what had to be his worst game ever, and I'm talking at any level. Dodger Stadium last year went 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts, all of them swinging, and then committed a 3-base error on a ball that Yasiel Puig hit that allowed the winning run to score in the 9th inning. He's ahead of Kershaw 3-1. Taylor was playing center field. Dodgers were down by a run with a man at first. 9th inning. Puig hits a base hit to center. Taylor overruns the bouncing ball, and Puig gets a Little League home run to win the game. As if the 0 for 5 with 5 swinging strikeouts wasn't enough. He's 6 years old, out of Florida. In his 4th year with big league time now, waiting on a 3-1 from Kershaw. And popping it up. Count goes full.
That bad day that you described for Taylor is one of the things that minor league baseball players, we're talking about the June draft coming up, or even young big leaguers, they have to learn to get over, because if you end up a top prospect or a big leaguer, you haven't had many bad days, and not real embarrassing ones either, where it's been in front of the world and every one of your fans and family and everybody knows about it. So you have to be able to respond to those difficulties and turn the page.
Gets him with a slider. Kershaw's 3rd strikeout, 2 gone.
This is a really good slider, starting to have some depth to it. Clayton's curveball has been better in his last 3 outings or so, and the slider is starting to get some tilt to it.
All 3 punch outs have come on the slider. And with 2 outs, the 8-hitter Jose Lobaton hits. Getting a start from Matt Wieters today behind the dish, with the day game following the night game.
What a gift from Dusty Baker. You get to play, but Clayton's pitching.
Yeah, right. A curve sweeps in for a strike, and it's 0-2.
The crowd starts to groan when the ball's about halfway to home plate, when they see that release of that curveball and then they see the strike called.
Went to the fastball, missed a little bit low. It's 1-2. And Kershaw shoots a glance home that says, I want that one. Chad Whitson calling balls and strikes today. Rendon at first with 2 gone, and Kershaw to Lobaton with a 1-2 offering. A curve gets him, his 4th strikeout. Ryan Zimmerman starts the inning with a solo home run, but Kershaw K's Taylor and K's Lobaton. To the bottom of the 2nd we go on a 1-0 game. At LA is brought to you by the Ram 1500 Rebel. Experience the power and toughness of Ram at your local dealer. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new sweet or spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich. Limited time only. Ryan Zimmerman's home run to open the 2nd inning has the Nationals in front 1-0. Joe Davis, Orel Hershiser, and Kelly Tennant are in the series finale before the Dodgers take tomorrow off and then welcome in the Reds over the weekend. Cody Bellinger to start the 2nd against Stephen Strasburg. A fastball for a strike. It was interesting reading some of the quotes from Cody after facing Max Scherzer for the first time last night. He said he was filthy and that he was throwing pitches he had never seen before. Hard hit, but well positioned. Murphy has it for the first out. 14 strikeouts for Scherzer through those 7 innings, and then on to the bullpen, which delivered a pair of scoreless innings, and that's 5 scoreless innings from a much maligned Nationals pen in this series.
Pitches he had never seen before. Well, that's the first step, seeing the ball and understanding that it does move in certain directions. There were times in my career I never saw the ball.
Got to be a scary feeling.
Nolan Ryan, Dwight Gooden.
Logan Forsythe. Yeah, those are the wrong guys to not pick it up out of the hand against, huh?
Yeah. One pitch, I squared around to bunt against Nolan Ryan. I think the ball must have been right between my eyes. But I don't know. I just ducked as soon as I couldn't see it.
And where did it wind up?
I think I went back and looked at a replay, and I think it went directly over my head. Because the at bat before, I tried to bunt for a hit off of him, and I found out as a young Dodger that you're not supposed to do that to Nolan Ryan. There will be a price to pay if you do.
1 ball and 2 strikes. You didn't at that point have the Silver Slugger on the resume.
No, it was a little earlier in my career. Even if you had the Silver Slugger, I don't think Nolan would care.
Didn't matter. Nolan, don't throw at me. I have a 93 Silver Slugger. What are you doing?
Yeah. I don't think he cared. I heard he was a nice guy off the field.
That didn't do you much good when he's throwing 100 at you. Forsythe now 0 for his last 22 as he looks at strike 3 over the outside edge.
Second baseman number 26, Chase Utley.
Chase hitting 7th this afternoon. 1 for 3 with a walk in last night's game, and top 5 in the National League in on-base percentage over the last month. It's a far cry from the guy that was below 100 with the average prior to that. Strasburg starts him with a breaking pitch for a strike. Between innings, they play these videos where they interview the players on the video board here. They showed one of Chase Utley getting interviewed. Supposed to be a fun interview. He didn't have a ton of fun with it, if I'm being honest. Although there was one answer that made you say, huh, pretty striking thing. There's a floater to center. Taylor runs it down, but it hits off his glove. Chase Utley hits second and heads to third. Taylor's got to hate this place. Talked about his 3-base error that he committed last June. He commits another 3-base error here in the second.
It's haunted out there for him in center field. This is just a flat-out clank, and he doesn't. Wow, he just flat-out missed that ball. I don't know if it was knuckling because it was off the end of the bat. Chase one-hands it, and he is not assuming anything. Right about there, a little hesitation like the ball hit leather, but oh, it didn't stick in the glove.
And we talked about it right off of the top, but the skies today, hazy, almost baseball color. And a runner at third with 2 gone for Puig. Who takes strike 1. Just to finish that thought about the video and the answer that I found really interesting. The last question Chase had to answer, somebody he admires, and his answer, Corey Seager. As you hear all these stories about how much Corey admires Chase and how much he's learned for him. Chase said, I admire Corey Seager. Why? Because he's a pretty good player. 0-2 on Puig.
They said, what's a perfect day, they asked him, and he said, getting up in the morning, playing with my 2 boys, going to the ballpark, and winning the baseball game.
Says baseball robot Chase Utley.
What's the most important part of your pregame routine? Getting the body active?
Waking my body up.
Waking my body up.
Ball 1 on Puig.
I got to play golf with him the other day. Rick Honeycutt brought him out when we were going to play on an off day, and Chase had some new clubs, and he hit the ball really well. I think he shot in the 70s, the high 70s, and a couple of the clubs still had plastic on it. He didn't realize it till after he hit a shot. From one of his deals, his shoe deal or some endorsement deal, the clubs arrived in the locker room, and Honeycutt saw his name on them and said, "Chase, new clubs, you want to go? We're going on the off day." And he tagged along, and I think he hit an 8-iron like about 10 feet on like the 14th hole, and said, "That's the first 8-iron I've hit with this set." And I said, "That's the way it's been all day." And he goes, "Yeah, but that one still had plastic on it."
Puig lines one to left that hangs up, and it's pulled in by Rayburn to finish the inning. Can't hit it much harder than that, with the Nationals out of it with no damage done.
Joined by the founder of the Prostate Cancer Foundation, Michael Milken. And we've been talking earlier today about the Home Run Challenge and everything you've been doing, touring the country, but you're so happy to be at Dodger Stadium, and we're so happy to have you.
The Dodgers have the only ownership, Todd Bowley here, that has actually traveled with us on the Home Run Challenge. They all traveled, and then they bought the Dodgers. That's what you learn on the Home Run Challenge.
What have you guys been able to accomplish over this time besides raising such an enormous amount of money?
Well, with the help of the Dodgers and Major League Baseball, the death rate from prostate cancer has dropped by more than 50%. It's linked to other cancers, and today cancer patients can know that they can live normal lives, even if cancer is spread in their lifetime. It's an amazing thing what all these home runs in ballparks. HomeRunChallenge.org.
And you were telling me earlier there are 6 new drugs now on the market, which is making a huge impact on things.
People that have failed surgery, hormones, and radiation now, new drugs like abiraterone put their prostate cancer into total remission.
Well, we appreciate having you and all of the amazing work that you do. Thank you so much.
And we appreciate Major League Baseball and owners like Todd Bowley and Mark and Bobby that have really been involved with the program. And there's 16 million Americans alive today living normal lives that have cancer, and I'm happy to be one of them. What a ballpark, Dodger Stadium.
Thank you so much. Appreciate both of you. All right, Joe.
All right, Kelly, we appreciate it. We appreciate Mr. Milliken's time, everything he's done. So we work on here in the 3rd inning with the Nationals in front of the Dodgers 1-0 on a Ryan Zimmerman solo homer. Kershaw's 1-2. A little bit low on Strasburg to even the count. Full count. Kershaw 4 punch outs through 2. 1 walk. He walks the pitcher to open the 3rd.
Number 7, Trey
Just a
Turner.
little more information on the Home Run Challenge. Kelly was helping us learn about. Go to homerunchallenge.org to learn even more. $45 million raised in the 2 decades they've been doing this.
That's absolutely fantastic for Mr. Milken to get involved and for Major League Baseball to partner with him and everyone. I've lost 3 relatives to prostate cancer, 2 uncles and a grandfather, so very much emotionally attached to the cause. And for everyone that has struggled with the big C, no matter what type, we send out our best wishes and hope for a recovery and a long life.
Second time through the Washington order. Trey Turner, fly to center his first time. Swings at a curve, falls in an 0-2 hole. Got him at the knees. 1 out.
Clayton has been living down there. Even the walk to Strasburg was down low, and he is trying to bury his fastball and his slider down there.
5 strikeouts now, and Ryan Rayburn bats with a man at first and 1 gone. 36-year-old, 11th major league season. Just called out by the Nationals at the start of this series. A slider for strike one. Started this season in the White Sox organization. Nationals traded for him a couple weeks back. Was in AAA Syracuse. Had just finished off a long bus ride to play a new series when he found out that he needed to hop on the plane to head to LA to join the Nats. A little bit up, 1-1. It's a long day of travel. Started really early on the East Coast. Bus pulled in. They put him on another bus or put him in a car and got him from Pawtucket to Boston to take the cross-country flight. Turns this one around in the air to center. Chris Taylor trying to find it in that hazy sky, and his feet chopping the way they did tell you that. He's got it. 2 out.
Number 34, Bryce.
This marine layer is so thick. I don't think it's going to get burned off today. I think they're going to deal with this for all 9 innings. It's just one big hazy day.
Harper now is 2 for 21 against Kershaw with 13 Ks after that first inning strikeout.
Clayton's the kind of guy that can put you in a slump, but Bryce really coming in here has had a cooling off period.
Yeah, his last 15 games he's hitting below 150.
The front side's getting a little loose. Last year when his numbers were down. The front shoulder and that front hip start flying out towards the Nationals dugout a little too soon.
One and one. Went home during his suspension for the brawl and worked with his dad, who is his very first hitting coach, Ron Harper. Used to pitch him sunflower seeds in the batting cage. Sunflower seeds and bottle caps, dried beans to help his hand-eye coordination. Curve banged into the ground foul, and it's 1-2.
Do you know how many people are now headed to the grocery store? The kids are like saying, "Dad, come on, let's stop watching the game. Let's go to the store and get the beans and the sunflower seeds. And what's a bottle cap?"
Yeah, right. Well, the bottle cap tool will be an excuse for Dad to go to the store to do this, right?
True.
We'll gather some of those. A 1-2. And another strikeout of Bryce Harper for Clayton Kershaw. He has 6 through 3, and the Dodgers offense will try and get him going for him. Down 1-0. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Cricket Wireless. Cricket, something to smile about. Stephen Strasburg back to the hill with a 1-0 lead. Bottom of the 3rd inning. He against Kershaw today. 2 guys tied for second in the National League with 7 wins apiece, chasing Antonio Senzatella of the Rockies, who got win number 8 last night. Rockies facing the Indians right now. They're scoreless early on in Denver. D-backs will play the Padres tonight.
Challenge enough to face Clayton Kershaw and Stephen Strasburg in the matchup. And now that Clayton has walked Stephen, I'm sure he takes this at bat a little bit more personally.
Strike 1.
Clayton about as competitive as they come. Anything to trigger a little bit more competitiveness, he will let get into his craw.
One ball and 1 strike. Stephen Strasburg, former 1st overall pick out of San Diego State. That was in 2009. He's in his 8th major league season. I don't know about you, but that makes me feel old.
Thanks a lot.
I'm with you on this one.
You're half my age.
8 years though.
I'm
for
broadcasting
Strasburg.
with my son.
Debuted when he was 21 in 2010.
The late, great Tony Gwynn was his coach in San Diego.
His mentor.
And I'll tell you what, he did a great job with Stephen. And Tony, when he said this guy can really pitch and is going to be a top draft pick, can you imagine what scouts did? When one of the greatest hitters of all time tells you he's going to be really good.
On the ground to Murphy at second, and Kershaw the first out of the third. Yeah, they listened and they drafted him first overall. The deal that Strasburg signed last April, 7 years, $175 million, before he hits free agency. He was inspired by Tony Gwynn and what he did, staying with the Padres long term. To do that, wanted to be a national for the long term. So that deal will take him into his mid-30s.
And they say that deal has really changed his makeup. That there were times in games where he would kind of look around and maybe look for somebody to blame other than himself. He has become a really good teammate and encourager. Guy who's trying to pick people up. If an error is committed behind him, he really focuses in on making that teammate's day a lot better by getting out of the inning. The body language on the mound, he is a lot tougher and a lot more focused.
2-0 on Chris Taylor. So it took him some time to develop into that guy. It took him some time to develop into a prospect as well. You know, when Stephen Strasburg was a junior in high school, he went 1-10. Wasn't even drafted out of high school. 2-1. Really out of shape when he got to San Diego State, but dropped 30 pounds, added muscle, started lifting weights for the first time, and then had that mentor in Tony Gwynn. A 2-1. A bouncing ball to third, and Rendon on back-to-back ground ball outs, 2 away in the third.
Tony had one of those infectious personalities and an infectious laugh, real mild manner about him. And when he spoke, it wasn't really always about something super deep, but when he finally got on a subject that you just kind of hang on every word, because he had processed it in a very deep way and was very particular about the words he chose.
Corey Seager, bases empty and 2 gone in the third. The Dodgers only 1 hit against Strasburg so far. And it's so far more the same for an offense that 6 of the last 7 games has scored 2 or fewer.
It's like facing the same guy, except for, you know, Max Scherzer's mechanics are a little bit more unorthodox, kind of a whippy style that kind of flings his body at you. Where Strasburg's a little bit more straight at you, more conventional. But when the ball comes out of their hand, both are electric. Scherzer with that wipeout slider and the tremendous movement on the changeup. Strasburg has the more downer curve ball and then also has the changeup, but not quite as much movement on it. There it is right there.
Last year added the slider and thought that it stressed his elbow too much, so that is now his 4th pitch. The curve back to being the primary breaking pitch. Throwing the change more than the slider too. 2 balls and 1 strike on Corey Seager, who cuts and misses, and it's 2-2.
You throw the curveball properly, it is less stress on your arm. I think that might be strange to viewers, but the fingers kind of come over the front of the ball on the curveball, where the slider can get more like turning a doorknob and really put some stress on that elbow.
He's twice gotten Seager with fastballs and has 3 shutout innings.
Like a Logan Forsythe or a Cody Bellinger, but they're also running up against some great pitching and a bullpen that's having a little bit of a resurgence with the Nats. You think you could get the underbelly and get that bullpen, but they have thrown some zeros up also.
5 in 5 innings. Winning game 1 4-2, winning last night 2-1, and leading here 1-0. So it is Zimmerman to lead off the 4th, and Clayton Kershaw drops a curve into him for strike 1. Attacked the first pitch of the 2nd inning and hit a line drive that didn't get more than about 40 feet off of the ground. Went out in the left field corner. 1-1.
Immediately respecting Ryan and how hot he is swinging the bat. He got a fastball in off the plate for the home run. They've gone curveball and fastball away so far in this AB.
Another curve. This one spanked to right center, and Puig ducks down to catch it. Boy, every ball in the air, I think we get more confirmation that it is not easy to find it today.
And I think between some light blue seats of Dodger Stadium in the upper deck and then the hazy skies, it's like almost one consistent color, and they're just, with the hazy skies, no sun out, it's still kind of glary.
Daniel Murphy. Talked about that historic postseason run he had 2 years ago, 2015. 7 home runs, including in a big league record 6 consecutive playoff games. That included 2 against Kershaw. Also included 1 against Greinke, 1 against Arrieta, 1 against John Lester. Earned him a $37 million contract a couple of months later. Lifted to left center field. Taylor started back, now comes on and plays it off a bounce. Murphy with a 1-out single.
Between the visuals today and Chris Taylor being new to center field, you could see the route kind of not really commit to it when that ball was hit. Ran a straight line kind of side to side to get the angle, but never really gained any ground on the ball.
Michael Taylor knows how difficult it is out there today. Had that 3-base error. He's on deck as Rendon stands in. Celebrated his 27th birthday yesterday. 5th big league season. Huge bounce back year for him last year. Top 5 in MVP voting in 2014. Then was limited to half a season because of injuries the next year. But a career high 85 knocked in last year. 1 ball and 1 strike. And even better for Rendon this time around.
We've had a large sampling of seeing a lot of the teams around the National League, and I think it is a unanimous that this is the best team we've seen.
Yeah.
Cubs haven't been the Cubs yet. Rockies look real strong. If the young pitching can hold up. These Nats right here, the only question mark is kind of middle relief right now.
I mean, early, middle, late, all the relief.
And I think they will address that if this team continues to perform like they are. It's one of the things that you can go acquire.
They tried to this offseason. Remember, the Nationals were one of the teams that made a big run at Kenley Jansen. He was down to Washington, Miami, and the Dodgers, and very close to going to D.C. to play for Dusty Baker, but at the last minute decided he couldn't imagine playing anywhere else.
Well, if you're a general manager and you trade away a really good reliever or two, it's probably the position that you can trade away somebody and get the least amount of flack from your fan base, because it seems like that's going to be some area that you can really acquire a lot of different things and come up with other people to fill those roles. So if you trade a top-notch starting pitcher, That's a hard one to replace. If you trade a top-notch middle of the lineup bat, home run power bat, that's a tough one to replace. But good relievers, you can find those on the trade market.
Rendon draws his second walk against Kershaw. It's the third of the day total for Clayton. And the Nationals have 2 on with 1 out.
Number 3, Michael Taylor.
The hardest part about trading for relievers is just overpaying for them when they're going to be available, but overpaying for them because there's a lot of competition for their services from other clubs.
And the market has set the bar high for what it takes to get a guy like Clint Kenley Jansen or Aroldis Chapman. Mark Melanson, the huge deal in San Francisco. Melanson was a National in the second half last year. In a 1-0 game in the fourth, Michael Taylor swings and misses at a slider for strike 1.
Well, Clayton knows his offense has had trouble scoring runs of late. He also knows that he's against Stephen Strasburg, so that makes this a very high leverage inning as far as looking for a W today.
Is a 1. Curve, beautiful. 0-2.
Has really found the range on that pitch over the last few starts. And in some ways, he's tightened it up and made it easier for himself to throw it for a strike.
Two on, 1 out in the fourth inning. Kershaw's 0-2 is a slider that he spikes. Grandal does a nice job to keep it in front of him. It's 1-2. Count evens up.
With Taylor's speed, you really don't throw the pitch that looks for a ground ball because he's probably not going to hit into a double play. So you look for the pitch to actually strike him out. If he was slower, you'd look to try and get the ground ball, get out of the inning on 1 pitch.
Struck him out with a slider his first time. He's gone to back-to-back sliders here, but missed with both. Shatters a bat on a fastball. They get it out at second. And now you'll worry about the people in the seats because that bat went all the way up into the second level of seats. Looks like everybody's okay.
Time now to take it slow with Kona as we watch this bat shatter. Just the handle left in his hand. Outstanding pitch from Clayton Kershaw. That bat just twists and flies a long, long way.
I think it landed right in the walkway, thankfully. Maybe it landed with him, but everybody okay, thank goodness. So Murphy at third and Taylor at first. Jose Lobaton, the batter, with 2 gone in a 1-0 game here in the fourth inning. Ground ball softly hit the short. Seager will throw him out, and Kershaw's out of a jam. On to the bottom of the fourth inning. Nationals 1, Dodgers nothing here in the series finale. Look at our Coors Light Cold Hard Fact. Lowest opponent OPS, which is on base plus slugging. Max Scherzer, who the Dodgers saw last night, #1 in the National League. And the 2 guys facing off today tied for third.
That tells you a pitcher's duel. Tough hombre yesterday, and Max Scherzer, he was as advertised. And the guy on the mound today is quite a 1-2 punch.
Middle part of the Dodger order against him here in the fourth inning. Adrian Gonzalez has the only Dodger hit today.
To remind you, Scherzer and Strasburg remind you of when it was Kershaw and Greinke. And you put Gio Gonzalez there. Maybe you thought about Ryu that year, but Ryu ended up hurt. They have a chance to have a big three, and big three that could have 3 big years.
Talked about this the other night, but DC hasn't had a baseball team win a postseason series since the 1920s. 1-1 on Gonzalez. The 1924 World Series, a different franchise, one of the 3 different franchises that DC has had. Washington Senators behind Walter Johnson getting the win in Game 7 against the Giants. 2-1. So there was that franchise. They moved on to Minnesota to become the Twins. When they left, a new franchise started by the same name, Washington Senators. A little more than a decade. They left for Dallas, became the Texas Rangers. And the Nationals imported from Montreal. 2-2. Fouled off. We'll do it again. Adrian, 34 years old, in his 14th year. Couple San Diego natives facing off to start the 4th. Lays off a change and works it full. Strasburg, born and raised there, played his college ball there. Adrian was born in San Diego. His family moved to Mexico shortly after that, but he was back to San Diego in grade school. A payoff, and it drops in for strike 3.
As Yasmani struts up to the plate, you should think about bringing your kids to Dodger Stadium on Sunday, June 11th, when the Dodgers take on the Reds. The first 12,000 kids 14 and under in attendance will receive a Kids Yasmani Grandal t-shirt, compliments of Chef Marito. For tickets, go to dodgers.com/promotions.
And he comes up here, and as you're looking at this team struggling offensively over the last week, it's not hard to figure out why when you go hitter by hitter. There are a lot of guys that are falling into slumps. Grandal's foul out in the first inning. He's 2 for his last 22 here in June.
It's a tough combination to be struggling with your swing and your contact and then face a staff like this right now. Find a way to not let that 1 run stand up today. Get a W. Off day tomorrow, and then get back at working at getting out of these slumps when the Reds come to town.
His 5th punch out, back-to-back Ks to open the 4th.
Number 35, Cody
Change up.
Bellinger.
This one goes more straight down, where Scherzer's a little bit more side to side.
Two outs, bases empty, and Cody Bellinger, who has one of the hardest hit balls against Strasburg today, it just happened to be right at Daniel Murphy. Strike 1. Strasburg very efficient, and that has been the book on him so far this year. 8 of his 11 starts so far. He's gone 7+. Nothing in 2 on Bellinger, and that's a year after he went 7+, only 10 times in 24 starts.
This is his 12th start. He's gone over 100 pitches 9 times. I think a high of close to 120. They've really taken the wraps off. best pitchers, it seems like there's always a reason to be protective of them. Now they're invested a lot of money in him. So in some ways, the player is freed up to, I have security, the contract, and now the risk is the club's. Early on, the risk seems to be a little bit of both when they're protecting the young arm, as the player's income is not guaranteed yet, and he's just trying to get to arbitration. And both are trying to keep him healthy and have him do well.
2-2. Strasburg had Tommy John surgery late in 2010. He missed almost all of 2011. Came back in 12 and was an all-star, but they had to shut him down in September. Didn't have to, but chose to. And so he didn't pitch in the postseason when a lot of people felt the Nationals had a chance to win the whole thing. Full count on Bellinger with 2 outs in the 4th. Shut him down last year because of a small tear in his forearm. So the Dodgers didn't see Strasburg in the National League Division Series. Hardly anybody's seen him in October. 3 postseason trips for the Nats in his career, but he's only pitched in 1 game. He gets Bellinger swinging with a changeup and strikes out the side in the 4th inning.
Is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. The We Make It Easy sales event is going on now at your SoCal Toyota dealer.
Dusty Baker, part of that '81 World Championship team. Here in the Dodger uniform, now managing the Nationals. Hoping that his Nats can sweep the Dodgers. They have a 1-0 lead here in Game 3. 9-1-2 for Washington against Kershaw in the 5th. Stephen Strasburg walked against Kershaw his first time up. Takes ball 1 here. Kershaw has walked 3 consecutive innings. Hardly ever see that. Walked 11 total last year. Now Strasburg lines the ball to center that hangs up for Taylor for the first out of the 5th inning.
Shortstop Trey Turner.
So back to the top and Trey Turner. Shortstop 0 for 2 today. He's down in the count 0-1. One and 1. Slow curve that time, and it's 1-2. Turner was the runner-up for Rookie of the Year to Corey Seager last year, despite only playing 73 games. Hit .340. 13 homers, 33 stolen bases. Only rookie in big league history to put up those kind of numbers in that short a time. That was while he was playing away from his natural position. Played center, played second. They had Danny Espinosa at short. Shipped him to the Angels. That opened up shortstop for Turner. Down swinging on a slider. Kershaw with his 7th.
Off-speed slider. 86 miles an hour. A lot of times those are around 88, 89. That one's the bigger sweeper.
Two up and 2 down in the 5th inning, and Ryan Rayburn hits with the bases empty. Lifted over short and a base hit to left. Rayburn with his first hit in a Nationals uniform, and it keeps his 5th inning alive.
Right fielder Bryce Harper.
for Bryce Harper. Kershaw's continued his mastery of Harper, getting him with a slider swinging in the first and a fastball looking in the third. He's now struck him out 14 of their 24 all-time meetings. 14 of their 22 all-time meetings, beg your pardon. Fly ball left center field. Bellinger's back there with Taylor, and it's Cody Bellinger to put it away and end the Nationals' fifth. Halfway home at Dodger Stadium, 1-0. Nats in front. 2017 All-Star Game with the Assurance MLB All-Star Game ballot at Dodgers.com/vote. Catch all the excitement of the 88th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard. July 11th live on Fox, and Corey Seager currently leading all shortstops in voting. Logan Forsythe to open the fifth against Stephen Strasburg. If Seager holds in the lead and starts it short, he'll be the first Dodger shortstop since Bill Russell in 1980 to start the game at short. Also happens to be the last All-Star game in this park.
Vote today, vote tomorrow, vote Dodgers. Vote for Corey for sure.
Other than 2 on Forsythe, who is searching right now, hitless in his last 21 at-bats, and 4 for 43 since coming off the DL. One and two.
I think it's officially a slump now for Logan. When he first came off the DL, the numbers weren't there. It looked like he was really starting to lock in, grind out at bats, hit the ball hard, but wasn't getting anything to show for it. But lately, been blinking through a lot of called third strikes, not hitting pitches he should. You wade through things like this, and then maybe a rock bottom gets created for you with a really terrible day, and you start to find it. It's a lonely feeling.
Forsythe leading off the fifth for the Dodgers. Strike it out swinging on a fastball. That's 7 total for Strasburg today, including 5 straight.
Number 26, Chase Utley.
Fastball up, outer half, pretty basic pitch. Not to take anything away from Stephen Strasburg, but I think it just highlights where Logan is with his swing.
Best opportunity of the day for the Dodgers came when Utley reached on a 3-base error with 2 outs in the second. And the center fielder Michael Taylor just clanked right off his glove. In fact, that created the only at-bat of the day for the Dodgers with the runner in scoring position. Puig barreled it up, but right at the left fielder Rayburn. And that ended the threat in the second. A 1-0. Bottom of the zone, 1-1.
Dodgers haven't been able to take advantage of runners in scoring position in this series so far. 1 for 10 in the first 2 games each.
Utley pops it up on the left side of the infield. It's Rendon making the call and the catch. 2 out.
Number 66, Yasiel Puig.
And it brings up Puig. So he and Coda Glover came together after the final out last night, and it sounds like from talking to different people that it was Glover who instigated it. It was a bit of a temper. Young guy. And of course, Yasiel not someone who's going to back down when it becomes a staring contest. So it escalated with the benches clearing. Nothing beyond that, though. A strike.
If Coda Glover has an issue with winning a game, I don't want to see it when he gets hit around. It was uncalled for what he did. You just win the game and celebrate with your teammates, but don't stare down the opponent.
Leaves that one up. 1 ball and 1 strike. Yasiel, the hardest hit ball of the day for the Dodgers. A line out 10 to second. 9 homers this year. 10th would tie it in the 5th. Fouled off of the catcher Lobaton, and it's 1-2. And just go back to last night we were talking about. Glover gets him on a slider for the final out of the game, and 2 lock eyes. Puig says, "What'd you say to me?" George Lombard was right there to make sure Puig didn't lose his temper anymore. Everybody did a good job at diffusing the situation before it got too out of control.
Yasiel Puig is the last guy on the Dodgers you would want to challenge. He's like one big muscle. He is so strong. No matter how big you are on the other side, it would be like wrestling your big brother. You would be in trouble.
A 1-2. And a ground ball to short. That's Turner. Dodgers down in order again, and after 5, trailing 1-0.
Fans get a safe, affordable ride to and from home base with Uber.
At LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Carl's Jr., the baby back rib burger, only at Carl's Jr.
Back at Dodgers Stadium, Nationals have a 1-0 lead as we open the 6th, and Ryan Zimmerman responsible for it. Homered on the second pitch, or the first pitch of the second inning. Team leading 17th of the year for him, and that's been enough with Stephen Strasburg delivering 5 scoreless innings. Kershaw's first pitch of the inning this time is low and away for ball 1. We look at the Carl's cam back at that home run.
Fastball in, and it was off the plate. The pitch that Zimmerman used to have a hole in there, especially up by his waist, but healthy and a quick bat in there.
Ball and a strike. You know, he had the worst year of his career last year. But once he dove into the StatCast data, what it showed was that his exit velocity was elite, meaning he was hitting the ball as hard as anybody. It's this one to right. Puig is there for the first out of the inning. But the launch angle was ridiculously low. So he was hitting all these bullets, but they were ground balls, a lot of them. And we're making it through the infield. So he spent some time with Daniel Murphy, who gets ready to bat here. Murphy revived his career by becoming a guy that focused on elevating the ball and trying to get it over the infield. Turns into more home runs. Zimmerman's done the same, although much more reluctant to talk about it than Murphy. A curve is in for a strike. Murphy is an admitted stats nerd, baseball nerd, hitting nerd. Zimmerman, he starts getting all these questions about his launch angle and his exit velocity. Line to left. Bellinger comes on to catch it quickly. 2 out. There is a reporter that told Ryan Zimmerman that on average he was hitting the ball an 1/8 of an inch lower than he was the year before. And Zimmerman said to him, I'm doing it on purpose. All offseason, I worked on hitting the ball an eighth of an inch lower. I used lasers and computers, and every time I didn't hit it on the ball an eighth of an inch lower, my bat would explode and I'd have to go get a new one.
Next question.
Yeah. 2 gone for Rendon. Strike 1. It's funny, I mean, 2 guys using the same information but digesting it and appreciating it in entirely different ways.
Well, I have another take on it from another player, not to be named so he doesn't get those kind of questions, but he says he attempts to hit the ball more on the line, not in the air, because he feels like a mistake on a line drive will be a hard ground ball through the infield, those 2 hoppers, not the 7%ers. And then the ones that are a mistake under will be the home runs. So he didn't take it so far as thinking about it just getting the ball in the air, but in the air, but on the line.
Kershaw looking for his first 1-2-3 inning of the game since the first, and he gets it with a strikeout of Rendon. Number 8 for Kershaw. Still looking for offense though. 1-0 middle 6.
Talked to Dave Roberts, and he announced that he would be putting Kenta Maeda into the bullpen starting this weekend. He said he doesn't feel like he's been in a rhythm, and they did something similar with Hyunjin Ryu, and it only lasted for 1 outing of him being in the bullpen, but he was able to find his rhythm again as Alex Wood was placed on the DL. So Dave Roberts hoping that this gets Kenta, that rhythm back and hopefully some confidence in case someone goes down again. He'll have that depth in the bullpen, but working with a 5-man rotation moving forward for now.
All right, Kelly, here's ball 1 on Kershaw, and the Dodgers hoping to get the same kind of response they did out of Hyunjin Ryu when they moved him to the pen for a game.
I think it was an emotional check, getting the rhythm back, feeling better about your mechanics. We thought Ryu's intensity definitely was upgraded. Maybe they'll get that out of Kenta. He can find that slider that is such a good swing and miss slider that he has struggled locating, and also locating his fastball a little better.
A 2-0. That's a strike, 2-1. Clayton walked Strasburg earlier in this game, trying to return the favor. They reached to open the 6th with the narrowest of margins once again between these squads. It's 2-2. It's been the little things all week that have separated the teams. Dodgers' inability to execute fundamental baseball situations on Monday night. The Nationals' ability to excel in those spots last night. Today a little bit different, just the brute strength of Ryan Zimmerman driving a ball out of here. A 2-2. Fouled off of the glove. Strasburg's retired 10 in a row since the error on Taylor back in the 2nd. He's allowed only 1 hit. It was an Adrian Gonzalez single in the 1st. Fell behind Kershaw 2-0. Clayton making him work, having fouled off 3 straight.
This 3-game losing streak, which includes the last game on the road trip, they've scored a total of 3 runs. This offense is really looking for its soul.
Winds up getting him. Oh, they say that Kershaw got a piece. Emphatically from Chad Whitson. Kershaw confirmed it with a nod of the head.
Going to start doing the little things on offense, including foul tipping pitches in the dirt.
Here's another 2-2, and he pops another foul. That's 4 consecutive ones sprayed by Kershaw.
Well, you think about this battle, pitcher on pitcher, and then you look at the 77 pitches that Stephen Strasburg has, and you think, you know what, this could have an impact. They kind of failed to get Max Scherzer out an inning early yesterday. And can they get Strasburg out of the game an inning early today?
Grounded softly by Strasburg. A shovel from Zimmerman gets Kershaw, but he does make him work, forcing Strasburg to use 9 pitches to get him on a ground out.
And he gets an ovation.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
Center fielder, Chris Taylor.
It's a very smart baseball crowd.
So let's see if that tees the top of the order up. To do some damage with Taylor and Seager coming up now in a 1-0 game. Chris 0 of 2 today, 2 for 10 in the series. Into the seat, strike 1. Sun is finally out. As mentioned, the marine layer maybe not breaking up. It was so thick, but it looks like it's starting to here in the later innings.
Temperature hasn't changed yet. Still 67 degrees here at Dodger Stadium. Ball really starts to carry when the temperature gets into the 80s.
Painted for strike 2. Ball 1 on Taylor. Trying to become the first Dodger to reach against Strasburg since the 2nd. People told us, yeah, Scherzer's good, but Strasburg's been better this year. We're seeing why that case could be made. In his 8th major league season, off to a heck of a start. He deals 1-2. Taylor dribbles it foul. Strasburg got off to an incredible start last year as well. In fact, became the first pitcher since 1912 to open a year 14-0. Faded down the stretch. 1-4 in his last 5 decisions, and then was shut down in September with a tear in his forearm and was unavailable for the postseason. Another 1-2. Taylor jams a soft liner foul. Zimmerman can't get there. Who will it be to provide that jolt for this offense? 6 of the last 7 games have scored 2 or fewer.
It starts to weigh on everybody, and then you get into a 1-0 game and you feel like you can go up there and try and do it yourself. But if the pitchers are making good pitches, you got to find singles, not home runs.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Chris Taylor, who has been the jolt provider so many times this season. Here's the next one. Fastball dumped back.
And as bad as you feel on the offensive side of the ball is as good as you can feel. All of a sudden you can get a run or 2. It can be a distant memory. And a big win if you can just find a couple hits and score some runs.
Another 2-2. Fastball, ground ball, it's short. Turner. 2 out. Enjoy all the sizzling summer action at Dodger Stadium by purchasing a summer 6-pack. You can choose your favorite giveaway nights, preferred days of the week, and great matchups. And you get a cool t-shirt with the purchase. Go to Dodgers.com/mini plans to learn more. 2 outs, bases empty. Corey Seager. Ball 1.
Stephen Strasburg's gone a high of 119. He's gone 118, actually gone 9 times over 100 in 11 outings. Dodgers trying to make him work here, and Clayton Kershaw built 9 of those pitches there in the 6th inning.
Change up, he's had it working. 1-1.
That pitch takes a lot of stress off his arm. If he's worried about the slider and then also the curveball stressing that elbow that he's had repaired, he might throw 119 or 118, but it's not going to feel as hard as if he threw them, including the slider and the curveball, as much. That changeup, stay behind it a little bit more. It's a little less stress on your arm. And that's why the little leaguers and the high schoolers and even the college guys, they say the first off-speed pitch you should learn is the changeup.
Threw it again. 2-1.
Now, you little leaguers won't be able to make it move like that. That's the tremendous arm speed of Stephen Strasburg and a little bit of grip pressure that he uses. But you'll be able to take velocity off your fastball, that's for sure.
Seager hits a fly ball to center field. Taylor's back. This game is tied. Seager strikes. Lightning strikes. And it's a 1-1 game just like that.
Time now for the top tier play of the game, brought to you by Arco. One swing changes all. Ryan Zimmerman changed it in the 2nd for the Nationals. Corey Seager changes it here in the 6th for the Dodgers. Yasiel Puig says, way to go, big guy.
8th of the season for Seager. Certainly one of the biggest. In the context not just of this game tying the score at 1, but in the context of this 2-5 stretch where the offense has been looking for any kind of momentum that it can get. First homer in a few weeks for Corey. Back at square one here in the 6th inning. Now Gonzalez takes ball 1. The Seager home run, not just the first run of the game, but the first hit since Adrian's first inning single.
Puts a little pep in your step, gives you a little adrenaline on the bench. Everybody now a little bit more focused, not carrying the weight of that 0. You know, Clayton feels a lot better about what's going on right now. You feel bad about the one you give up, but you feel really good when your team covers that blemish.
On 2-0. Adrian takes ball 3. Think back to the at-bat to start this inning. Clayton Kershaw needed 9 pitches before he was retired. Dodgers getting an extended look at Strasburg, running that pitch count now into the 90s. Gonzalez waiting on a 3-0. Generous strike, 3-1.
Not only does it affect the Dodger lineup and the scoreboard, but it affects Stephen Strasburg. He's avoiding the strike zone here, pitching very carefully.
3-2, a nice changeup. That's been his best pitch for most of the afternoon.
Sure has. Tremendous arm speed. Stays on line with this new delivery just from the stretch, so it guards his arm swing.
Up getting him, but it gets by. Gonzalez will reach first base, and the inning continues.
We'll see if they graded a wild pitch or a strikeout. It's a pitch that should be blocked for sure. They might call it a wild pitch, but he had to reach for it. Going for a backdoor curveball, ends up being down and into the lefty Gonzo. Just couldn't reach it.
The 8th Strasburg strikeout, but it gets by Lobaton, and it brings up Grandal. Ball on Yasmani. It kicks off of Lobaton, and Gonzalez moves into scoring position. What a rough sequence for the veteran Lobaton.
Yesterday in the Dodger third against Max Scherzer, Scherzer struck out the side plus had a fly out, so that's 4 outs. Well, that's because runner reached first on a walk, strikeout, and he had bases loaded, 2 out by the time he had to battle out of that inning. Dodgers catching a break here right now. They didn't capitalize yesterday. Can they capitalize today?
Go ahead run at second. A 1-0. Ball 2. Both of those were ruled pass balls. This inning should be over, but Gonzalez reaching and then moving to second. Setting up an opportunity here for Yasmani Grandal. He cheers him on or something. 2-0. In there for strike 2 and 1.
I think Yasiel is totally engaged today still from all that energy from last night at the end of the game. The confrontation with the closer, which did clear both benches, and it was cleared up quickly, but a little bit more focus today from Yasiel.
100th pitch from Strasburg. Takes off on him. 3 and 1.
Strasburg is the third hitter. A couple ways to get him out of the game. High stress inning here. Dusty Baker might go to the pen.
That drops in, full count.
3-1 curveball. First base open. Go ahead run on second. Nearing the end of your pitch count. Pitching now to save that run.
Grandal hits it to left center field. That ball is down, and the Dodgers have taken the lead. Yasmani Grandal with a go-ahead double.
The double that hurt yesterday was Bryce Harper that hit the right field line. This one hits the left center gap just out of the reach of the fielders. That accuracy with that fly ball on the Volkswagen replay brings the go-ahead run home and invents a new dance.
So from down 1-0 and desperate for something offensively against a guy that's been as good as anyone in baseball this year, to up 2-1. Home run from Seager. A pass ball allows Gonzalez to reach. A wild pitch moves him into scoring position. And a double from Grandal has this script flip. Intentionally walked Bellinger, so 2 on with 2 out, and Logan Forsythe the batter. Who needs third base coaches?
Well, I give Jock the benefit of the doubt because he has a concussion.
Okay. Yeah.
The other guy, that's just his personality.
I was going to say, I give him the benefit of the doubt because he's Yasiel Puig in that situation. And
advantage Dodgers, not only on the scoreboard, but the best pitcher on the planet is still in the game, and the #1 bullpen in the National League is still available.
bullpen gets loose for the Nationals as Forsythe stands in and takes ball 1. Blake Trinan. Forsythe checks on Rendon at third. It goes the short way to end the inning. But the Dodgers turn things around in a big way. Corey Seager launches his 8th home run of the season to tie it at 1. And Grandal comes through with a 2-out double. And after 6, the Dodgers lead it 2-1. Corey Seager came through with a solo shot to tie the game. Dodgers got one more, taking advantage of the door cracking open against some shoddy defense from the Nationals. Grandal doubling home the go-ahead run. So now Kershaw goes from looking at a tough luck loss to trying to protect a 1-run lead. 7th inning, series finale between the Dodgers and the Nationals. Bottom of the order, it's Michael Taylor to start this inning. Strike 1. Last time the Nationals saw Clayton Kershaw, the division series last year, when he pitched 3 times in a 7-day span. Swatted to right. Puig on the move. Plenty of room. 1 out. Beat Kershaw in game 1. Had 11 Ks on 3 days rest in game 4. And then one of the more amazing moments you will ever see in game 5 on short rest. Goes out to the bullpen. Comes on for the save and gets the final 2 outs. On to get Murphy to pop up, and then got Wilmer Depot to finish the game in a moment that will go down in Dodger history as one of the more memorable. Here's Lobaton. Ball 1. Dave Roberts had said before that game 5, no, Clayton Kershaw isn't available. Clayton, partway through the game, went up to Rick Honeycutt and said, hey, you know what? I think I can get a couple outs if we need it. And Honey said, no way. So like any good kid would do, he went to his other parent, goes up to Dave Roberts and says, hey, I think I can go. I think I can give you a couple outs if you need them. And the reason that Clayton did that is because Dave Roberts had to call on Kenley Jansen way earlier than he normally would. Jansen came in the 7th inning. The pitch count was climbing. Kershaw realized his availability could be game-changing, season-changing. So Kenley Jansen remembers coming down early on in the 8th inning and peeking into the tunnel and seeing Kershaw had changed out of his running shoes and into his game shoes. He thought, what am I seeing? A curve, fly to left center. That's Chris Taylor. That's out number 2. Jansen said after, I thought I was seeing a ghost. Here's Clayton Kershaw all ready to go. Out to warm up. Remember those images they showed on Fox of him walking to left field? Almost like a character in a movie or something with an overcoat still on. Honeycutt comes out as Wilmer Depot gets ready to bat, ironically, as we talk about him finishing that game off. So the discussion became, All right, if things get to Daniel Murphy, I'm going to use it. So he went out there and got ready. Things did get to Murphy, and Jansen ran into a little bit of trouble in that 9th inning. Kershaw came out, got him, and got the man that gets ready to bat here.
Clayton's always been a fantastic team guy, but that was like the ultimate example of that. The competitor in him, and then do whatever it takes to win.
Strike on Defoe.
The visit from Rick Honeycutt was just to go over the scouting report.
One on one. That save that Kershaw got was his first since he was in rookie ball. And his catcher happened to be Kenley Jansen. 1-2.
So far, it looks like stick with either one of your breaking balls as far as pitch selection. 3 spinners so far, a couple of sliders and the curveball.
Strikeout number 9 for Clayton Kershaw, who's now pitching with a lead as we march to the 7th inning stretch.
By BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com.
Dodgers getting 2 against Stephen Strasburg in their last opportunity against him. Finishes having gone 6 innings, hands it off to Matt Albers, who's in, who's out, brought to you by In-N-Out. This is only the 4th time in Strasburg's 12 starts this year that he's failed to complete 7 innings.
One of the sparkling pieces for Dusty Baker's bullpen down there for the Nationals. Not many stars in that pen that have been shining, but Albers has been one that he has been able to count on. A little chat about how do you feel.
Just watch me, Rick. Chase Utley leads off the inning, fouls off 91.
When your starting pitcher is Clayton Kershaw and you're asking him how he feels, and he's the 3rd hitter, and he starts to put his batting gloves on, I think that tells you how he feels.
Yeah, just looks him back in the eye, doesn't say a word, and straps up the gloves. Utley golfs one in foul ground. The sun is now out. The shades are on, and Rendon's got it for the first out of the inning. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is a Zach Greinke story, and if you don't correct me, I'm sure Twitter will. But somebody comes out to take this pitcher that I'm thinking of out, and again, I think Zach Greinke, and they ask, how do you feel? And he says, a lot better than the guy you're going to bring in for me.
That sounds like Zach.
Yeah. 1 out for Puig.
Tommy used to say to me, Bulldog, you play poker? You go, yeah. You ever get up from the table and let one of the relievers come over on the airplane and let him play with your money? I go, no. And he goes, well, then why are you looking down there looking for relief? They're playing with your money. Stay in the game.
I love that. Albers to Puig, and Yasiel tries to lay off but can't. 0-2.
Pedro Baez getting loose to possibly play with some of Clayton Kershaw's money.
The joke that has to be made is that there's plenty to go around.
It has to be made.
Well deserved.
For sure. That was an easy sign.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Puig. Chases a slider down and away and has started to do that more lately. 2 out. And up comes Kershaw. Thrown 95 pitches in this one, so he will go back out to pitch the 8th inning. He's exceeded 103 consecutive starts, and his season high is 118.
And he's done a number with the bat today. 9 pitches in his last at bat that started the 2-run inning for the Dodgers. Chris Taylor saw 8 pitches in that inning also. And Strasburg had his highest pitch count inning, 35. So Clayton was part of the wearing down.
Oh, and 2. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Albers, sending us to the 8th with the Dodgers in front of the Nationals 2-1. Clayton Kershaw ready to go back out and do what he does best. LA is brought to you by Land Rover, above and beyond. Well, we were pretty certain when Kershaw hit for himself that he'd go back out for the 8th, but Dave Roberts has news for him when he gets into the dugout. Kershaw's finished.
Players have short-term perspective. Dave Roberts has a long-term perspective. He's thinking about October, and he's thinking about all the future years. And with a #1 bullpen in the National League, you have the luxury to be able to take out the best pitcher on the planet. It's a conversation. It's slightly animated, but there is a boss, and then there are pitchers. Clayton just happens to be one of the second in the category. I had those days too with Tommy. He didn't want to take you out, but there were days when you did hit for yourself and then get taken out when you got back to the bench.
On to Pedro Baez with Kenley Jansen looming in the 9th inning. Pedro's been as good as anyone in his role. Another thing that I'm sure factored into the equation is this is the top of the order. Would have been the 4th time that they have come up against Kershaw. Instead, their first look at Baez, and Trey Turner takes ball 1.
You do sacrifice Clayton's ability to take care of the running game. If Turner should reach, Baez not as proficient as Clayton is with the pickoff moves and holding runners.
It's 1-1.
Dave Roberts puts himself on the hot seat taking Clayton out, but he's doing the right thing for the team in his mind. And he's going to use all his bullets to make sure he gets that victory for the Dodgers and for Clayton. And so Kenley Jansen is now up in the bullpen to back up Pedro Baez.
Yeah, this would be an easy one to second guess, and Dave knows that. Turner flies it to right center field. Taylor's on the move, and it bangs off the wall. Trey Turner on his way to 3rd, and he leads off the inning with a triple.
The field number 18, Ryan Rayburn.
He just sticks his bat out there. One hands this off the barrel, and Pedro supplied all the power. Chris Taylor really had no chance for that, and it was very painful to put that much work into a day, have a lead finally, and then watch it get so close to evaporating.
So into a spot where the Nationals have been so good in this series. That is making productive outs, taking advantage of their opportunities. They have the speedster Turner at third and nobody out in a one-run game in the 8th. Ryan Rayburn. Ball 1.
Rayburn likes to hit the fastball, doesn't like to hit the breaking ball. They start him out with that fastball in. Pedro's got the velocity that even if he's looking for fastball, he can beat him to the spot. It's going to take some quality pitches.
It's 1-1. Infield is in, but with a guy like Turner at third, it still has to be clean to be able to get him at the plate if he decides to break.
I don't think he will run on contact with no outs, but I think with 1 out, you're going to have to make that aggressive play home. I think right here, if he reads chopper, I think he breaks with the angle of the ball, but if he sees a normal ground ball, I think he will hold. It'll be on contact with 1 out if he's still there.
1-2. Rayburn trying to endear himself to his new team. A big spot here. Although if he can't get the job done, he can take comfort in knowing that Harper follows and then Zimmerman.
You get Rayburn, you might think about walking Bryce Harper. And I know Zimmerman's hitting for a super high average, but you still have a chance to get the double play if you put Bryce on.
A 1-2 and a strikeout. 98 to get Rayburn, 1 gone.
Goes up the ladder, strength against strength. Good fastball hitter against a really good fastball.
So here is Harper.
Dave Roberts is going to watch a pitch or two before he decides what to do with them. I would think if they fall behind him 2-0. I'm hoping that Pedro's thoughts are to pitch like every pitch is an 0-2 count. Don't worry about just getting ahead. Don't worry about getting back into a count if you throw ball 1. Pitchers pitch every time you cock your arm.
Ball 1. Just listening to you on that one. Harper brought home Turner in the first inning yesterday with a sacrifice fly. McCarthy got him to 2 strikes and then he elevated it to left. After Turner had reached on an infield single, stolen second and stolen third. Here in the 8th, he's tripled to start the inning. 2-0. Now either be really careful or they'll issue the 4 fingers.
You got to really trust your pitcher that he understands the philosophy behind a 2-0 pitch in this situation. Dave Roberts trusting Pedro's growth as a pitcher, knowing this ball's got to be on the corner. Do not give in.
Two and one.
And enough juice to take a portion of the plate and just get the foul ball. Of the 2 hitters that could come up here, Harper or Zimmerman, Zimmerman's definitely swinging the bat better. Harper in a little bit of a mini slump.
Yeah, I think if this is May 7th, it's handled differently. But on June 7th, Harper hitting below 150 over the last 2 weeks. Runner at third and 1 out. 1-run game in the 8th inning. And Baez brings it 2-1. Grounded back to him. Pedro comes home. They've got Turner caught. The throw to the plate and he's out. A Houdini act for Pedro Baez and the Dodgers.
Ball is absolutely scorched. 2-1 fastball, and he gets his glove down in a hurry. The rundown is a little bit of a debacle, and Pedro Baez really not supposed to be involved, but he stays there. Adrian Gonzalez there. You want your fielders to field the ball, and the tag is in time, and Pedro does a lot to help get out of this jam.
California love pumps to the Dodger Stadium speakers, and here comes Kenley Jansen. On for Pedro Baez, who somehow, with Trey Turner at third and nobody out of it with no damage. He has 4 4-out saves this season. Series in Milwaukee over the weekend went 2 innings and got a win, so this is far from uncharted for big number 74.
It's uncharted the way Dave Roberts brought him into the game. He brought him in by phone from the bench. Kenley jumped the gun and came through the gate. They started California Love, and they were out there waiting for Dave Roberts to come out and make the change, and Kenley was already in from the bullpen, and Pedro Baez was waiting for the skipper to take him out. Dave Roberts didn't want to cross the line as Dusty Baker was arguing or discussing things with the umpires, but the music in Kenley jumped the gun.
That's about as much heat as you can put on one mound. Baez and Jansen both standing there at the same time. Ryan Zimmerman says get rid of at least one of them. It's hard enough. He'll face Kenley Jansen in a 2-1 game in the 8th inning. Harper at first on the fielder's choice. Zimmerman's solo home run against Kershaw in the 2nd inning, accounting for the Nationals' offense in this game. Strike one. Mentioned it before, but Washington, a lot of people figured, was the likeliest landing spot for Jansen if he signed somewhere other than Los Angeles. He's admitted since he was close to choosing Washington. Marlins also made a run at him. Could not imagine being anywhere else, though. It came time to put his name on a dotted line.
Kenley paying attention to Bryce Harper over there. While he's been on the mound in his career, there have been 45 stolen bases and only 5 caught stealing.
Zimmerman leading the majors in batting average, leading the team in homers, his 17th earlier. He's 3rd in the majors in RBIs, now 49 this year. Harper at first and 2 gone, and Jansen to the plate, 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Two and two.
Kershaw relieved Kenley in Game 5. Here today in the regular season of 2017, the roles are reversed. And I will tell you, you are more nervous watching than you are pitching.
Tying run at first, go ahead run at the plate. Jansen's ready, Zimmerman's ready, 2-2. Soft bouncer back to Jansen. He's got it. Somehow the Dodgers out of this inning with the lead intact. And Clayton Kershaw still in position to win it. Brought to you by Morongo Casino. Clayton Kershaw, 7 innings and in position to win this game. Thanks to the Seager homer and the Grandal double to put the Dodgers in front 2-1 against Stephen Strasburg. And then after Trey Turner led off the inning against Pedro Baez with a triple, he got a strikeout of Rayburn, and then Pedro, a fantastic play on a hot bouncer off of the bat of Bryce Harper. And they get Turner in a rundown before Jansen comes on to get Zimmerman. Albers for his second inning of relief. Chris Taylor stands in and takes strike 1.
Dave Roberts yesterday in his media scrum was asked about the pregame work the Dodgers went through, which was a lot of pitchers fielding practice. And he said, you know what, I don't want to wait till we make a mistake. I want to get out in front of this and make sure everybody's on the same page and they get their work. We haven't done this in a while. You know, Pedro Baez gets the comebacker, makes a nice stag, gets involved in the rundown. Kenley Jansen fields his position cleanly, and they get out of it.
Taylor's ahead 2-1. Trying to reach for the first time today. He's grounded out all 3 times he's been up. Dodgers 2 runs on only 3 hits. Gonzalez single in the first, the Seager homer in the 6th, and the Grandal double that followed to put the Dodgers in front. 2-2. About the little things throughout this series, because that's what typically decides the games between the best teams. Nationals got the better of those the first 2 games. Some of their sloppiness opening the door for the Dodgers in this one. Thinking back to the drop 3rd strike that allowed Adrian Gonzalez to reach during that 6th inning with 2 outs. Inning should have been over with the game still tied at 1, but Gonzalez reaches, takes second on a wild pitch. Grandal stepped through that open door and hit a double to put the Dodgers in front. Full count on Taylor. Backs up and he got a piece. We'll do it again.
Everybody who's a Dodger or a Dodger fan wants to win this game for sure, but I'll tell you what, the wives and the girlfriends of the players want them to win. Going into an off day and a nice gala tomorrow night for the foundation of the Dodgers. Daddy's in a good mood playing with the kids and having an off day.
Bottom of the zone, strike 3. Taylor is 0 for 4 today. 1 out in the 8th.
It has been a low strike zone all day.
And a new pitcher will try to exploit that. Here comes Dusty Baker to take out Matt Albers back into the bullpen.
Backstage Dodgers get to know the team's AAA affiliate, the Oklahoma City Dodgers. Plus, go behind the scenes as Grant Dayton gets the call up to the majors. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers, presented by Hankook Tires, Friday after the postgame on Sportsnet LA.
Corey Seager.
Manny Romero, the new Nationals pitcher, in a 2-1 game. We saw Romero first night of this series, live stuff, but at this point in his career, still kind of a thrower is what you recognize?
Pretty much a thrower. I don't think he always knows where it's going, but it's going at about 98, 99 miles an hour with the heater, and that slider averages above 90 miles an hour. So You better stay loose in your boots, this left-on-left situation with Corey Seager up there.
Seager went after him. First pitch that he saw a couple nights ago, and single. Takes outside, ball one. Looking ahead to the ninth inning, Nationals send Murphy, Rendon, and Taylor up there against Kenley Jansen. Two and 0. Rockies lead the Indians 5-0, seventh inning in Denver. So the Dodgers, it looks like, trying to keep pace. 2 games back at the start of the day. 2 balls and a strike. Seager's home run to tie this game was his first since May 20th. And on 2-1, the Dodgers shortstop. It's a ground ball into short right field. Murphy off balance throw. One hops in time. Didn't put much on that thing.
We'll take another look at it. It's bang, bang. Corey Seager hustling all the way out of the box, but he's out by about 8 inches. Foot is still in the air above the bag as Zimmerman casually snags it.
Casual throw gets a casual snag.
He could almost have stretched out and caught that one in the air.
The first inning single for Gonzalez. He has a hit in 13 of his last 14. Rolls this one to Murphy. Tough bounce on him, and it's an error. Second one of the game on Washington. Murphy not pretty here in the 8th.
Looks like he's playing second base on roller skates. Wow. Interesting technique. You did tell the story about when he was in the batting cage and Dad said it was time to take ground balls or fly balls, that he hated that part. He just wanted to stay in the cage.
Yeah, right. They'd get to the field. And him and his little brother would hit some more, and Dad said it's time to go take ground balls. His brother was happy too. Adrian runs, the throw down gets him. Murphy never wanted to transition out of the cage into the field to practice. All right, fasten those seat belts onto the 9th inning. Kenley Jansen trying to wrap it up in a 2-1 game.
Post game, all the highlights and analysis presented by your Southern California Nissan dealers. Those 3 guys will have it all covered. We'll have the interviews from here for you.
All right, Dodgers trying to ride that 2-run 6th inning against Stephen Strasburg to a win in this finale. Kenley Jansen got the final out of the 8th and goes to work against 5, 6, and 7 in the 9th.
2 runs from the offense. It's like a waterfall. I mean, what have they got now? 5 runs in the last 4 games?
Well, this would be a win at 2-1, but it would be the 7th time out of their last 8 they failed to score 3.
And you got to have a guy like Clayton Kershaw start a game and Corey Seager pitch in with the home run, and then have the Nationals kind of throw the ball around a little bit for you to get that 2nd run.
Top offense in baseball that Washington brought in here. If the score holds, the Dodgers will have held them to 7 runs in 3 games, but lost 2 of them. Daniel Murphy, then Rendon, then Taylor. 9th inning begins with strike 1 and a ground ball into that Nationals dugout.
That is hard to do. Foul a ball off in your own dugout when you're a left-handed hitter. It goes into first base side. That's that cutter in.
And you can see Murphy's beautiful hitting mind working after that. It's as if he figured out exactly why that happened and how to solve it mechanically. Straightens it out a little bit, still foul, and 0-2.
We do have to do a montage of all the facial expressions we've seen over the last 3 days. Max Scherzer had some beauties at the end of the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Slightly possessed.
Base hit down the right field line. Puig hustling to cut it off. Murphy holds on with a single. That's a big time play from Yasiel Puig.
Yasiel has lined out, grounded out the short, and struck out, but this is the biggest play of the game by far for him. Boy, outstanding range, and then you're not going to run on that gun. He's got eyes in the back of his head as far as understanding where the bases are after he chases the ball down.
But the Nationals do put the leadoff man on against Jansen and bring up the red-hot Rendon. Home run and a double in this series. Today he's walked twice. A fly ball and easily playable. Either Taylor or Bellinger. It's Taylor. 1 out. And when you're looking at the lineup, that was the spot that you had to hold your breath on with the way Rendon's been swinging it.
This is a long, hard lineup to get through. We're getting to the part where Dusty Baker needs to go to some reserves.
The first of which will be Adam Lind, and then it's going to be Matt Wieters.
Batting pinch hitter, 26, Adam Lind.
And it's been a productive bat, mostly off of the bench for Dusty Baker this year. How about those pinch hitting numbers? Perfectly placed cutter, strike one.
If you're a manager, you save those numbers for a big situation or last chance. The Nationals are down to 2 outs.
Jansen would love a ground ball. It would finish the game potentially. It's 1-1. Happened at his wedding this offseason, where he decided that he would stay a Dodger. Turner was there, Puig was there, Van Slyke. They were there for a few days leading up to the Saturday wedding, but didn't talk any baseball until they were in Kenley's hotel room with the barber the morning of the wedding. And the barber brought it up. What are you guys going to do in free agency? One and two on Lind. Later that night, Turner told Jansen he had decided to stay with the Dodgers, signed his deal. And Kenley the next day agreed to his. Two on in the ninth inning. Murphy at first with 1 out. And Jansen to Lind with a 1-2 pitch. Murphy runs in the dirt. And he's safe at second. Lucky that that thing kicked the way that it did. And Murphy didn't see that it had gotten by, and so he's only at second.
This goes right through the wicket. Yasmani coming up for the stolen base, the ball going down, and Corey Seager learning a Chase Utley trick by deking that the ball was actually going to arrive at second to keep him in his slide and hopefully fasten to second base. Take a look at the deke from Corey. The ball is back by the backstop, but he pretends like he's making a play.
So just like that, the Nationals have the tying run in scoring position. With one of the best pinch hitters in baseball up there, and on deck, one of the best with men in scoring position in baseball. It's Matt Wieters. Here comes a 2-2. He struck him out, and the Nationals are down to their final out.
Not easy to break a 3-game losing streak, and it's not easy to win a game with just 2 runs, but the Dodgers are trying to do it. Some big strikeouts and nice defense has helped them along the way.
So it is up to Matt Wieters. One of the best hitters in baseball this year with runners in scoring position. He's got Murphy at second representing the tying run. He's got the best in the game on the mound staring at him. A crackback pop-up into short center field. Losing streak over, and the Dodgers with a 2-1 win to take the series finale against Washington.
A nail-biting team win. Clayton Kershaw starts it off, gets up the 1 home run, but hangs in there long enough to wait for the offense, and it came with Corey Seager, and it came with a little help from the Nationals.
Our Lexus play of the game comes from Corey Seager. Dodgers in search of offense. Got it from Seager. Home run against Strasburg to tie the game in the 6th. 2 batters later, they go ahead. Gonzalez reached on a strikeout. They got by the catcher Lobatone. Took second on a wild pitch and scored on a Grandal double. For Orel Hershiser, Kelly Tennant, the rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying so long from Dodger Stadium. Coming up next, it's Access Sportsnet Dodgers. Off day tomorrow. The Reds in town this weekend, opening up a 3-game series Friday night.